Hello, Capricorn. Welcome to your angel reading for May. It looks like you went through a lot and now you're making something of everything you went through. Um, because for your past card, we have the Nine of Swords, which is the stress card. And with Nine of Swords, this was in April. But for May, we have the Knight of Cups, spirituality. It could also be a love offer coming in May. Um, in June, we have the Justice card, some sort of justice coming in for you. And your attitude about everything is that you've got a lot of options, a lot of choices. What's influencing you is trust. You want to know who you can trust, Knight of Pentacles energy. Your obstacle is releasing a heavy burden. And your outcome is you're going to be creating something new in May. But what you don't see coming out of what you create is leadership, King of Wands, leadership. So Nine of Swords, and I really like this deck because it has keywords, but I found a new deck today called Crystal Deck, and to me, that's the best deck I've found so far because it has key phrases on the cards, not just words. But so it has key phrases and not just one word. But with the Nine of Swords, okay, in April you had stress, anxiety, nightmares, or insomnia. So in April there was some sort of stress buildup and you were unable to release worries as they arise. You could have had nightmares, insomnia, or poor sleep. I don't know if somebody was having that effect on you. You could have also had daytime anxiety. When I think of daytime anxiety, it kind of reminds me of a job. Maybe your job that you were working gave you daytime anxiety. You could have been overthinking or worrying as habit rather than in response to a particular issue at work or at home or in a relationship. So the situation's going to improve this month, okay? Whatever you went through in April, it's going to improve. But it's telling you not to let any negative thoughts take hold. And what does that mean? So basically, don't believe them, right? Like if you have a negative thought, like I'll never get the job I want, just be like, that's nonsense, and don't let it take hold. Don't believe it. You don't have to believe your thoughts. Because your thoughts are not necessarily facts. I mean, sometimes our thoughts are opinions. So it was advising you to share your worries if you can rather than deal with them alone. So if this was a job in the past, it was instead of carrying everything, let them know what's going on and that you need help. But with this month, we have Knight of Cups, spirituality. And this is traditionally, it means a love offer, but with this deck, it calls it spirituality. When I think of the Knight of Cups, I think of somebody you can enjoy spending time with. It's not necessarily that it's going to be something serious. I mean, it could be. It could develop into something serious. We have spirituality, idealism, sympathy, imagination. You could be idolizing somebody in May, or they're idolizing you. But the Knight usually does indicate an offer. This individual is an idealist who dreams first and thinks later. With this in mind, it may be best not to take him too seriously until he makes his intentions clear. So, if you have someone love bombing you in May, Capricorn, and this person is like, I love you, I want to be with you. And okay, well, how do you want to be with me? Do you want to be friends? Do you want to be best friends? Do you want to be married? What do you want? Make sure that person makes their intentions clear. Because and this is something I was learning about the other day. There are a lot of guys out there that will claim that they love somebody, just to get closer to them, to get what they want, right? And it kind of reminds me of that Lauryn Hill song. Girl, you better watch out. Some guys are only about that thing, that thing, that thing. And she was basically saying that, some guys, they'll tell you anything that you want to hear just so you do what they want you to do. But in work and career matters, this card shows an opportunity for you that looks great on paper, but check the detail before you commit. It kind of reminds me of a job offer that I've seen on Craigslist before where they're like, "Oh, you can be a superstar, you can be a rock star." And okay, that's nice, but what are the terms of the job? Do I have to work 40-hour weeks or above 40 hours to be considered a rock star? So you need to check the paperwork of this job you're being offered in May. In relationships, the knight can signify new love, but look for actions that are consistent with words. Additional interpretations are marriage proposals, new ideas, and the chance to follow up a spiritual interest. So, someone could also be proposing to you in May. But like I said, you need to discover this person's intentions. And it's not just getting to, okay, they want to get married. Okay, well, they want to get married. What are their intentions there? Do they intend to have kids? Do they intend to not have kids? Are you going to live at their house? Are they going to live at your house? You have to get into all of these intentions and details. To me, looking at the summary of this card, the Knight of Cups is, it's in the details. In the details, you need to look in the details. You can't just fall for any general statement someone gives you, like, "I love you," or "Do you want to be a rock star?" In terms of love or career, you have to look at the fine details with this card in May. Now, after May, your card for June is Justice, Angel of Integrity. You may actually be getting married in June or divorced from somebody in June. The Justice card can mean so many different legal things and legal matters. But so the power affirmation for this card is, "I have a balanced outlook and treat others fairly." You may be concerned about fairness in June. Like, you want someone who's going to treat you fairly. You don't want to text someone and then 5 hours later they text you. You want someone who texts you right back, tit for tat, not somebody who takes forever to message you, or you're doing all the giving and they're not. So, if you deserve justice, you will have it. If you don't, you may be called to account for your actions. Equally, the card may show that someone close to you is guilty of hypocrisy or has tried to discredit or mislead you. And if so, that person will be exposed. So if somebody has tried to lie about you or lead you off somewhere in the wrong direction, they're going to be exposed in June. It also indicates that you should give fair attention to your work-life balance. And this is what I meant earlier talking about reading the fine details. If you don't read the fine details and you sign up for a job you don't want, you're going to be so busy. And in June, you're going to be like, "I need a break. I need a day off." But fairness and truth are important to you in June. Seek the answers you need and accept the facts. Now, your attitude in May is that you have so many choices, okay? You have so many choices with the Seven of Cups card. So many choices. And you could also kind of have your head in the clouds. Sometimes, we put our heads in the clouds instead of doing, I guess, taking the easy route. It kind of reminds me of choosing a college. If you live in a certain state, you could go to the capital of that state, you could go to different cities in that state, or you could just go to a local college. You don't have to list so many options. And I'm not discouraging anybody from reaching for the stars. If you want to reach for the stars, go ahead and reach for the stars. But sometimes our head is in the clouds and we have so many options, and it makes it harder for us to get what we want because we're focused on multiple options instead of just one. So yeah, your head is in the clouds in May. The world seems full of fantastic potential, but you can't see which path to follow because you don't yet have the information you need to make a choice. So again, it's about looking at the details, right? Equally as anything seems possible, you may be guilty of wishful thinking, unable or unwilling to see the facts behind the facade. Get in touch with your inner creativity and ask your angels for help. For artistic types, the card can indicate creative ideas yet to be realized. So if you have a deck of angel cards or ancestor cards or some sort of spiritual cards where you get messages from, you can pull out those cards, or you can even just talk to your ancestors and ask them for advice about what they think is the best route or option for you to choose. Now, what's influencing you is the Knight of Pentacles. Trust. You want an offer that you can trust, okay? I mean, and to me, Knight of Pentacles is completely different from the Knight of Cups, because Knight of Cups, like I said, you have to look at their actions instead of their words. But with the Knight of Pentacles, this is somebody who's reliable. So influencing you is somebody who's reliable. It's almost like you have a friend that's reliable, or someone you know that's reliable, and they could be making some sort of love offer. Now, if the love offer is coming from this person, this is a person you should be able to trust because it is the Knight of Pentacles. Now, this person is reliable, they're honest, they're loyal. This is a person that signifies security in relationships, love, and loyalty. Stability is important now, so you may want to be stable at this time, and you may need to look at your work and finances to find ways to make your money grow. Financial planning may not come naturally to you, but now is the time to pay attention to your money. So you're paying attention to your money in May, and you could be more prosperous in the future than you think. Specific meanings include a trustworthy partner, tax returns, investments, and saving for a future home. So what's influencing you is your finances, regardless of whether it's a job or a love offer. Either a person or your finances are influencing you at this time in May. Because if you're looking at a job, it's like, well, how much money does it pay? If you're looking at a relationship, it's, okay, what do they bring to the table? It can't be just me bringing something to the table and they're not bringing anything to the table. But you have an obstacle in May, which is releasing a heavy burden, and that is the Ten of Wands, burdens. And this could be a past job or a past person that you're having trouble releasing. So priorities, pressure. If this has to do with your new job, maybe your new job is more complicated than you thought it was going to be. This card shows you're feeling overwhelmed, burdened by too much responsibility at work, overloaded with domestic demands, or juggling both. You may feel that you've lost sight of where you're going, given the pressure to get things done. If so, step back. You're not responsible for everything and everyone. So this goes back to that contract we're talking about. If you sign a contract to be a certain person in a job and they want to give you extra job duties that aren't under your job description, you may want to tell some people that's not my job. And it could end up getting you fired, so you may want to be careful with that advice that I just gave. But that's what some people do at work. Some people, when they've been hired for a specific role, if someone tries to assign them other people's jobs, they're like, that's not my job. That's not part of my job description. When I filled out the contract for this job and I kept the contract, it says that, yeah, I'm supposed to be a cashier, but it didn't say I'm supposed to be a CSM. And you've got me doing responsibilities for a CSM, basically. So, they don't want, you don't, what I'm trying to say is you don't want to have a job where you signed up for it and you thought it was going to be so easy, and then it's hard because people are giving you burdens that do not belong to you. You may feel that you've lost sight of where you're going, given the pressure to get things done. If so, step back. Okay, I already read that part, but for some, this 10 can also be a moment of realization. It's not possible or fair on you to try to do everything all at once, and it's time to lay down some of those wands. So that's another thing. Somebody could be expecting you to be in two places at one time. They want you to be at the cash register and at the customer service desk, and you can't be at two places in one time. I mean, and these are just examples. I don't know if any of you have ever worked in customer service or not, but says an additional interpretation is overthinking. So again, this is related to the Nine of Swords, which is what you were doing in April, which is overthinking. And so your obstacle may be overthinking in May. Now, the outcome of everything is you will be creating something new. Some of you, if you signed up for something and you didn't really agree with it, you may be going off on your own and starting your own business. I mean, this is the angel of abundance, and the Empress knows her worth. It could be a situation where you don't get along with somebody or they don't get along with you, and you decide to go start your own business, or you decide to work on yourself and to love yourself instead of being in a relationship. But the Empress can also signify pregnancy. So for those of you who did get married, some of you may end up pregnant after you get married, pregnant in May. But the power affirmation for this card is, I am abundant and at peace with myself. So you're going to be flourishing in family and romantic relationships in May. You may be inspired to tend to creative projects, and there's financial stability and growth too, as money flows and is managed well. The Empress can also represent a female partner in a reading. And the message is to appreciate what you have and keep nurturing what you want to see grow. So if you are pregnant, the message is to appreciate that. Not everybody appreciates it when they're pregnant. And it's, no judgment here. It's just some people, when they're pregnant, they smoke, they drink, they don't take care of themselves. They don't appreciate the human being that they have growing inside of them. And this card is telling you that if you're pregnant this month, to appreciate that human being. And I know it's hard because I've been pregnant before. I mean, it's hard because you're so nauseated. And I took Diclegis, which is a combination of a B vitamin and an antihistamine. And I took that to get rid of my morning sickness. And I drank a lot of water. It was mainly water I needed to get rid of all that sickness. And but what you don't see coming is the King of Wands in May, a leadership role, okay? And I mean, really, if you're becoming a parent, you are a leader, But if this has to do with a job, I think somebody's trying to put you in a leadership role and you don't really see it coming. It's almost like if this is related to career, somebody had you sign up for something, but they didn't tell you in the fine print, you're eventually going to be a leader or you're eventually going to do this, So leadership, inventiveness, impulsiveness, ideas, driven by ideas and impulses. This king is an unconventional soul. He may be a powerful business leader or an artist, traveler, or startup entrepreneur, needing complete control to do things his way. He may have very high expectations of others and demand perfection, but he certainly communicates his ideas brilliantly and inspires those around him. So you could be inspiring people around you in May. The card often comes up in readings to show innovation, creative projects, travel, and successful networking. So you're inspiring people in May. You're taking on a leadership role and you're inspiring them. And that's awesome. I mean, it kind of reminds me of when I used to work for Walmart. And I ended up leaving Walmart and I went to trucking school. And when I came back from trucking school, I was talking to one of the cashiers at Walmart that I used to work with. And she was like, "How are you?" They're trained to ask that. And I was like, "I'm good, how are you?" And she's like, "Oh girl, same old, same old." And I was like, "Have you ever considered going to trucking school?" And I told her about the trucking school I used to go to that had free food, free housing, free training. They shut it down, but she was so excited to hear about that. And after about a few months or a few weeks, it was a few weeks to a few months, I didn't see her anymore at Walmart. I had inspired her to leave Walmart and get something better for herself. So, you're inspiring people. If you started a new business in May, you're inspiring people. If you're in a leadership role, you're inspiring people. People are looking up to you. You may even have a few copycats, and try not to let it get you down, okay? Try not to let it get you down. Try not to be like try not to be like, I don't like it when people copy me, and why are they copying me? I got some haters, and maybe it's just people that just want to be like you. I mean, it's kind of like if you've ever had siblings, and they can be kind of annoying sometimes because the younger ones always copy you because they want to be like you. But that's all I have, Capricorn, and congratulations on the pregnancy or the new business or the leadership position. Whichever one of those fit, congratulations. Thank you.